So in today's video, I'm sharing the secret to healthy relationships isn't what you think, because most people think that it's about fixing the relationship, and that's not right. So in this video, I'm going to share what that secret is so that you can start to heal and build healthy relationships for yourself. But if you're new, my name's Michelle Ferris. I'm a psychotherapist, and I love helping people create relationships that work. So I'm guessing that most of you think that building a healthy relationship means that you need to set better boundaries, or you need to become a better communicator or listener, or you have to learn how to resolve conflict. And while those things are super important, they're not what's going to guarantee you a healthy relationship. Because here's the thing. The biggest mistake people make is thinking that the other person has to change because they're the one with the problem. And what we do is we totally dismiss our own part in the relationship. Now, sometimes we can go the other way and take too much responsibility for the relationship, but secretly we may think, well, it's really their fault. If only my partner would be nicer, if only they would get their anger under control, if only they would stop drinking, if only they would stop gaslighting me. If you think that, say me too, because here's why we do that. It's really easy to see somebody else's behavior because they're in front of us, but it's harder to see our own behavior because we don't see it the same way. It's very easy for us to get lost in what's being done to us versus what our part is in the relationship. And that is part of the key that I'm going to help you uncover in this video. Now, if you ever felt like your partner is more the problem, say me too in the comments. I'm right there with you. But this video is going to help because let's face it, it's much easier to critique somebody else's behavior than to take the time it takes and the courage it takes to look at our own behavior. And if we don't have the tools to do that, we're going to stay focused on what isn't working, namely our relationship, and miss the part we play. And I don't want that for you. So what's the secret of building a healthy relationship? It's building the right foundation. Because if you have the right foundation, your relationships are going to naturally be healthier. You're going to feel more healthy and centered and not like you have to have this person in order to survive or making them your everything. That's where we go into codependent patterns, and I don't want that for you. So the secret to building healthy relationships is building a foundation within yourself. This does not mean that you're not going to learn how to set boundaries and become a better communicator or listener. Those things are important. But if you don't have a healthy foundation within yourself, you're not going to be able to create the kind of relationships you want. Now, years ago, I had a friendship crash and burn, and it was super painful. I've talked about this in my other videos. But what I learned was I didn't have a solid foundation of myself, of trusting myself, of loving myself, of relying on myself, because I was still looking to this friend for my love and approval. And I didn't even realize I was doing it, because in codependent patterns, this stuff gets really slippery. I didn't understand my part in that. And for the longest time when I was in the grieving process, I really thought if only I could be better, or if only I could have caught the warning signs that she was unhappy, I could have saved the relationship. And truth be told, that wasn't the case. And what I really needed to do was look at the fact that I didn't have a solid foundation. Even though I had been doing this work for a long time, I didn't do what I'm about to share with you. So what I had to do was look at my foundation, and my foundation wasn't solid. So part of what you need to do is turn the focus off of trying to fix your relationship and put it back onto building this foundation. Because if you build it right, you're going to be able to come from a healthier place, which is going to naturally make your relationships healthier. And I'm going to go over this in detail in an upcoming workshop, and I'm going to leave the link in the description, so I hope you sign up. So what's involved in creating this foundation? Things like building self-trust, self-care, because if we neglect ourselves for our relationships, our foundation is going to be shaky. Self-esteem, knowing how to validate ourselves, not just always look for it outside of ourselves. There's some other components too that I'm going to go over in the workshop. But part of what we need to do is recognize that we hold the power to have the kind of healthy relationships we want if we're willing to do this work. And let's face it, it's a lot easier to blame the other person and to say they're narcissistic or they're toxic or they don't treat me well. But here's the thing. If you're in a toxic or narcissistic relationship, there's a reason for that. And there's some work to be done, because part of relationship recovery is being responsible for our choices and being willing to look honestly at the relationships we're in to see if we're really being honored or taken care of, or it's become a one-sided toxic connection that isn't serving you anymore. So do you know what the most important relationship is in terms of having healthy relationships? One of the things I didn't realize 7 years ago when my friendship blew up is that the missing piece in my relationship recovery was the relationship I had with myself. So the biggest part of building this foundation is learning how to befriend yourself, learning how to enjoy your own company, learning how to like yourself and forgive yourself and accept who you are, imperfect and all, because none of us are perfect. And that's not the goal in this work. The goal is to love and accept yourself as you are. Because when you do that, your foundation is going to be strong and it's going to be solid. And another aspect of that is learning how to assess the quality of your relationships and know who really truly supports you and who really isn't showing up for you, and maybe somebody that you need to possibly consider letting go of, or at the very least detaching from. So now that you know what the secret to building healthy relationships is, what's your next step? Are you ready to take some action? Because if so, I definitely want to invite you to my workshop. I'm having it a few different times this week, and you're probably going to be able to get the replay if you missed it live. But join us, because I'm going to walk you through the 5 pillars of building relationships that truly honor you. Because that's the purpose of this work. I want you to have the relationships you deserve. But remember, the secret ingredient is to create the foundation the right way and start to plug up those holes of low self-esteem and self-doubt and fear that are getting in the way of you having the relationships you want. So go sign up for my workshop and I'll see you there.